Hi guys, I am Tracy DeMario, and I am going to talk to you about getting new customers. My guess is that not all of you have all of the customers you would like. So if that's correct, we're going to talk about some different things and some different ways that you can go about working on increasing your customer base and taking good care of the customers that you currently have as well. So with that, one of the things that we're going to discuss is getting uncomfortable. Some of you have heard me say this, and I know you love me or hate me for it, but here's the reality. If you keep doing things the way you're doing them now, odds are very slim that your business is going to grow. So what we know to be true is that we have to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. I can tell you, some of you have had the opportunity to hear Heidi Thompson, and she is our owner's wife, and she's a phenomenal human being. You can't help but love her if you've ever heard her. However, this is her reality. She's extremely shy. I mean, like, that's not even an understatement. It's like extremely shy. And when I first saw her at Reunion back in 2009 and 2010, it was not uncommon, like literally, she would be up on stage and you could see her body physically shaking as she was up there trying to talk on stage. I mean, it was a huge fear, but she knew she had to face that fear. She had to get uncomfortable to get comfortable. Now, I'm sure if you asked her today if she still gets nervous, she's going to tell you yes. However, you don't see her body vibrating off of the stage when she's talking now, and she's done a phenomenal job. And the only reason that's happened is because she's forced herself to get uncomfortable. So we're going to talk about that, and yes, by the end of this, I have a feeling many of you will need to get uncomfortable, but here's the reality. I'm going to give you all the steps necessary so that you can be set up for success, so that you can do it. You can pick how you want to do it, when you want to do it, but you will find success if you'll stay with me. Okay, here we go. First of all, one of the things that we know to be true is if you never did anything but take care of the existing customers that you currently have, you're going to stay in business. So that's great. Take care of people who call you, give you orders. Take care of the people who come to your parties. You will always stay in business. But how many of you guys would like to earn some trips, maybe? Hey, yes. How many of you guys would maybe like to take your family on a vacation? Maybe you'd like to make 6 figures a year. Maybe you would just like to make your house payment a year, or whatever your reason for doing Scentsy is. If you really want to see a significant change in your business, then you're going to need to have new customers, because your friends, your family, your existing customer base is not going to help you to grow and to see the kind of success that you're probably longing for. And with that, we're going to talk about this. Okay, so one of the first things I need you guys to do is I'm going to need you guys to get a piece of paper and a pencil. And if you don't do this now, you can come back to it later. But this is an important piece of this puzzle. And by the time we get done with this session, I assure you, you will have all the pieces you need to make a significant difference. So let's do this together. I want you to think about all the places that you are going to be going. Where do you go on a regular basis? Where are you going to be going in the next week and the next month? Here's some examples. The bank. I mean, most of us have to go to the bank. A restaurant, grocery store, school, dentist, salon, PTA meeting, doctor's offices. Maybe your kids have some different practices, dance practice, sports practices. Maybe you're going to the post office. So I need you to make a list of all the places you're going to go, because we're going to come back to that. So make sure you've got your list of the places you go. And then when you're writing down that list, I also want you to indicate if you know the people you're going to see. So for example, my hairdresser's name is Rhonda, so I know I'm going to see Rhonda. When I go into the school and sign in, I know I'm going to see Teresa, so I could write down Teresa. Now, you won't have names for everybody, but if you have names of specific people you know every time you go in you're going to see, then write that down too, next to that particular location. Some of you probably already do a great job of making samples, and that's fabulous. However, we've got lots of new team members that have joined us, and I want to give a little how-to on some samples, and maybe you'll even see a new and different way of doing it yourself. There's several ways you can do the samples. Probably one that's very popular is by using molds. You can purchase molds just about anywhere. Hobby Lobby. You can get them in the candy making section. You can order them on Amazon. They can be found anywhere. These are very expensive. These white ones are about $2.50, and they will do a lot of samples. So there's lots of different options. This is actually just a mini ice cube tray, and this was my very first sample making mold. I love it because they were all very consistent. And I also liked it because if you were having a bad day, you have to whack the heck out of it on the counter to get them to come out. My kids would all be like, "Oh, Mom's making samples," because they would know when I was out there whacking it. But no, seriously, they do make really cute, consistent, nice size samples. And these are just the mini ice cube trays. And then another thing that I recommend would be getting something similar to this. There's lots of brands. This is the Wilton, this is the Rival chocolate melter. Wilton does make one too. Again, these can be found at Michael's, Hobby Lobby, probably Joann's, any kind of craft making store, or on Amazon as well. This one, I believe, was around $20. I'm sure there's some that are less, or you can use a 40% coupon at Michael's or Joann's and save some money and get yourself one of these because they work really great. You simply just put your wax in. It's going to get really hot really fast, so you want to be ready. You're going to pour the wax into your mold. I place them in my freezer for about 5 minutes. Then they are solid. Then I just actually, get them out. And I put them in these little baggies like this. These are jewelry making bags. I like the 2-inch by 3-inch bags. You can buy them at Walmart and other places. 100 bags are usually around $1. So they're very inexpensive. This is just one way that you can make the samples that I found to be a good way to do that. A lot of other people like the crinkle cutter method. And if you go to the Scented Bliss Team YouTube video, we do have a how-to video on how to do these. This is a Pampered Chef crinkle cutter, and this is just one purchased at Bed Bath & Beyond. For those of you that didn't know, these are actually used for vegetables. I guess, I wouldn't know since I stay away from the kitchen, but I guess it's just to make them look pretty. I don't know. But they work fabulous for making samples as well. This is a very fast way to make samples. So I love it when you're in a hurry, and it does work really good. This is an example of one. See how it's kind of got the wedge there on it. You can make a lot really fast. So if you're ever in a hurry, that's an excellent way to do that. And just because I have this in front of me, this is an example of one of those jewel molds that came out of one of those molds that I just showed you all ago as well. So this is fast, and that's the quick, fast way to do it. Then felt samples. A lot of people love these. These are actually pieces of felt that are already pre-cut, and you can purchase these in mass quantities, again, online. Or you could just cut some simple strips of felt in whatever shape you would want, like these particular ones here. And then you just melt your wax in the warmer if you would like, and you can just dip them, lay them on wax paper, they dry. You can use these in your warmers. The felt will not hurt anything because, of course, our warmers don't get hot enough to burn anything. So these are just some examples of some different felt samples that you can do as well. And these are nice for mailing because they're flat. So this is a really good option for mailing them too. So just some neat ideas there as far as the samples go. And I also like how this is one that Jessica Hirsch gave me. She used the Scent of the Month sticker to put on the front. So that way it indicates what the scent is. And then she's got her label on the back. So quick, easy, fun. If you've got kids, this is a great, fun, easy thing to do with your kids as well. Now, we have a lot of new products categories that we need to be offering too. Scent samples are fabulous. They're amazing. I have them on me at all times. However, most people don't realize we're more than warmers and wax. So we as consultants need to be educating our customers. So there's some great alternatives to that. For example, these are like the most adorable, cute little spray bottles. And you can see kind of what the finished product looks like when you get these done. And they're really nice because you could use the Scentsy Fresh. You could use Counter Clean. I had people tell me that they put these in their bag parties. That way they can demo or have their host demo some of the other products. I think that's a good idea. I also like the idea of them being host thank yous. Or maybe someone gives you a $200 order. What a great thing to little tie in for them to try with their order. So I think these are really fabulous. Then, again, Jessica Hirsch was kind enough to show me and loan me these here. This is her French Lavender, which is this one here, Counter Clean. And she actually was kind enough to upload these tags that she made to the Scented Bliss Team Facebook page. So if you are wanting to make some of these and want additional information, that information is in our file section of our page. This particular one here is the counter cleaner. But again, get people using these products and give them as little thank yous to your customers. I think it's just awesome. I also wanted to show you some other samples that she has made with the essential oils. And I don't know if you're aware of it or not, but you can still buy the different bundles there while supplies last. So if you're interested in doing some samples with some oils, these are available through Scentsy that you can purchase this particular, these little vials and everything you need to make these samples with the labels and everything. So be sure you're checking that out because, again, a lot of people love the idea and they just look really nice and professional, and what a great thing to put in with your orders. I also like how someone, and this was probably Jessica too, she just emptied out one of her testers, and she put some whipped body souffle in here as a sample. So I thought that was a really neat idea. Again, because I'm hoping many of you new consultants are watching this too. In case you did not know, Scentsy does have samples already made of some of our other product categories too that you can purchase through the Scentsy Skin. And this is the laundry liquid. And this one here is Scentsy Groom. So you can purchase these already made. Again, just getting people to use these other products because once they use them, they'll have to have them. Washer Whiffs is a popular one. I don't have a sample of that right now. And then these are really fun too. These little containers here. I'll take one out. These would work good for the Scentsy Fresh. I think these would be really nice. And you can buy these in bulk. But you can just see they just go together like this. And this particular one has a key ring. Not all of them do. But it would be nice, again, to hand out and give out as little gifts and stuff, or for goodie bags, if you're doing any goodie bags and stuff like that. So I think I've covered all of those things that I wanted to share. The only other one was the dryer discs. This is a neat way to do a dryer disc. Just take one dryer disc and then put them in the baggie along with the information regarding the dryer discs. And I will commonly send the dryer discs as a thank you to my online orders of over like $30 or more because, again, they're easy to mail. I send them with a catalog and a thank you note. So just something to think about for something different to do. Okay, so I think we've gone over all of that. And now let's talk about, there are 3 great ways to offer samples to customers and those around you. One of which is silent samples. Some of you have heard me talk about this before, and if you have heard me, then I hope you're doing it often. Some of you maybe even have seen people post in the Facebook group, hey, I did a silent sample, and we're like, yay, it's so exciting, because again, when you get uncomfortable, great things happen. So, silent samples, these are very simple. There's no reason why none of you cannot be doing this on a very regular and consistent basis. So, for example, when I go out to eat, which unfortunately is often, or fortunately, I'm not sure which, but in my case, it's often, I always have my product list with me with the scent sample staple on the corner. When I get done eating and after they give me their bill, I always, after I pay it, I put one of my product sheets with a scent sample in there and I leave it on the table for the server. That's a silent sample. I've left, they open it, it smells great, it's wonderful. That's a silent sample. You can all do that. All of you probably wrote down when I asked you to make that list that you're going to be going out to eat at some point, my guess is. So all of you can do that. Another one is the bank. Hopefully, all of you have to visit the bank at some point, and if not, we need to sell some more Scentsy so you can make more trips to go to the bank. When you go to the bank, go through the drive-thru on purpose. In fact, I want to challenge all of you over the course of the next week to go through the drive-thru of your bank. Find some reason to do business through the drive-thru. Once you're done with your business, I want you to take a scent sample of some kind, any kind of Scentsy sample. I want you to put it in the tube. I want you to hit send, and I want you to drive away. And you did it! Ta-da! And you didn't get hurt in the process. In fact, if you only send one, and there's 2 or 3 employees working back there, that one's going to think she hit the jackpot because she's going to be excited that she got something that smells good. So I sometimes will even send 2 or 3 in and say, share the wealth. You know, it's great. So all of you can do that. I want to see you guys do that and then give us a shout out on the Facebook group that you've done your silent sample. Okay. Again, goodie bags. Those are another one. It's not uncommon. For example, if you happen to know someone who has an apartment complex, maybe they, I don't know, they manage some type of accommodations and they have goodie bags, welcome bags for their tenants. Get your scent samples in there. Get a product list with your scent samples to go out to every single one of them. Maybe, you know, your subdivision does something for new residents. You know, think of ways and things that you could get your information out to people that you would not ever have an opportunity to meet otherwise. It's not hard if you ask. Most people don't mind. In fact, they welcome the idea, especially if we are talking about a housing complex They would much rather people be using Scentsy than using anything with a wicked candle that could possibly burn the whole place down. So you're doing them a favor, and don't be afraid to ask. So silent sample, very easy. Leave it, go away. You could all do it. You could all be successful. And believe it or not, you'll be surprised how many times you will get calls. Fortunately or unfortunately, I spend a lot of time at doctor's offices and in waiting rooms, and I always leave a trace that I've been there with catalogs or product lists and such. So it's really important that you do that. And I do get phone calls from those. In fact, I had a nurse that once joined because they happened to see my catalog in a waiting room. So be sure that you're doing that. Okay, is everybody ready? I hope you're still with me. I tell you, got to trust me on this. You have to trust me. I wouldn't have you do anything that I did not feel would help your business. The next one is stranger samples. I said it, stranger samples. For many of you, you're probably trying to shut the TV off or you're recording off. Please don't. I'm going to make it really easy. I assure you I am. Okay, we are going to practice some role playing. Obviously, it's a little more awkward since I'm talking to a screen, so I'm going to make it as easy as possible. But it doesn't have to be that hard. You're going to find yourself in situations. You're waiting at the dentist office. You're sitting there. There's 3 or 4 people around you. They've got kids playing, reading books. You're naturally having conversation. Oh, do you go to school here locally? Do you work outside of the home? They might comment on something that you're wearing or something that you have. You have small talk of some kind. And at some point in that conversation, your next thing to say would be, do you happen to use Scentsy products? They're going to say yes or they're going to say no. If they say yes, your next question would be, do you have a consultant that takes good care of you? They're going to say yes or they're going to say no. If they say yes, then you say, that's great. Then you have a good smelling house. That's awesome. I love it. And you're done. Then you keep talking about the kids playing or whatever you want to talk about. If they say no, which I assure you, you will hear more often than yes, that's when you're going to say, you know what? I have a sample here of our new scent of the month. I would love to give you, and I would love to be your Scentsy consultant. Give me a call anytime I can assist you. Bam. That's a silent sample. And it was very easy. It was painless. Again, you will not get hurt in the process, and people will be excited. In fact, they might even say, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. My person moved, and I've been looking for a new person, or I had to go to the other place to get some because I didn't know where to get any Scentsy. This is so fabulous. Yeah, I want some. I need light bulbs. Who knows what's going to come from it? But because you offered the sample, now you have the opportunity to have a new customer. Now let's go through this again. So you're sitting in line at the grocery store. The line is long because there's only one person and everybody's paying by check. You know those people. You're in that line. I'm always in that line. And so, you're making eye contact. You're talking about something. I don't know. Just having small talk. It happens. And if it doesn't happen, start having it more often. Find a reason to engage in conversation. Oh, I love those shoes. Or, oh my goodness, your daughter's hair is so cute. Or whatever you want to say. Oh, do you play soccer here? Because they're wearing a soccer. Just start talking to them. And throughout the conversation, do you have a Scentsy consultant that takes good care of you? And they're going to say yes or no. If they say yes, you say, that's great. Then your house smells great. If they say no, then you say, oh my gosh, well, I would love to give you a scent sample, and I would love to be your Scentsy consultant. I'm working really hard to grow my business. Here you go. I hope I hear from you. That's it. Done. If you ask someone if they currently use Scentsy and they say no, then your next thing would be, oh my goodness, well, let me tell you, I've got some scent samples right here. I would love to give you one. We have very safe fragrance products. We have warmers, wax, and all kinds of other amazing stuff. So let me give you a sample here, and you can actually go on my website and check it out for more information. Silent sample. Simple, easy. I will tell you, more often than not, people have heard of Scentsy. They may not have ever used it, but usually they've heard of it. More often than not, people need a Scentsy consultant. When you ask them, do you have a Scentsy consultant that takes good care of you? Most of them are going to say, mine moved. She never has catalogs. I can't get any light bulbs. It took me a month to get my order. I'm so frustrated because she won't call me back. You're going to hear that most of the time. I'm here to tell you. And a simple scent sample, them hanging on to this with your contact information goes a long way. So, very important. Get your samples made and set a goal. What's your goal? I'm going to do 3 a week. If that's realistic for you and that's going to challenge you and push you outside your comfort zone, then say, you know what? I am not going to bed until I've got 3 silent samples done this week. Then go for 5, go for 10, whatever's realistic for you. Make it real, but anything is improvement, and you're going to see success. You know, you may not see success the first 17 samples you hand out, but if it's that 18th one that ends up giving you a $75 order or wants to join your team or host a party, it's all worth it. So just keep working on that. Make sure that you set your goals and that you do it. And then I want to talk about is visual samples. Okay, these are your visual samples. So visual samples, this one is easy. This is where ideally you have a set of our mini testers. That would be perfect. If you don't have the mini testers, then I would recommend you having a couple of Scentsy bars in your tote bag or in your purse at all times. And worst case scenario, at least a catalog should be with you at all times. On a visual sample would be something like, I'm going to lunch with my girlfriend. We happen to be going to Panera's. And we sit down to have lunch, and I just so happen to have to bring my tote bag in with my mini testers, and I slop the mini testers on the table while we're eating. It's very visible to everyone. Usually, my girlfriend would be like, oh my gosh, are there any new ones? Or let me smell some. So we start smelling it. Naturally, people see, hear. You're going to have people say things like, is that Scentsy? Is that chapstick? Oh, what is that? Oh my gosh, that's a Scentsy consultant. Oh, are you a Scentsy consultant? I need Scentsy. It will not surprise you, but oftentimes people are going to notice and they're going to want to know about it. They're going to approach you. You don't even have to say anything. Just by seeing the mini testers, if you're at a restaurant where there's actually servers always go crazy. They're like, oh my gosh, you sell Scentsy? I love Scentsy. I need Scentsy. Oh, wow, is that lip gloss? Whatever they think it is. But it's a great way to have conversation. And again, to give them a sample and to tell them you want to be their Scentsy consultant. So this is a great way to do that. Same with if you happen to be in line at the grocery store to pay. Well, just so happen to get your wallet out. You got to grab those 2 Scentsy bars, set them out right there by where you're going to swipe your card, set them out, get your fumble for your wallet. Someone around you is going to say, oh, do you sell Scentsy? Oh, are those Scentsy bars? I love Scentsy. Do you have a Scentsy consultant that takes good care of you? They're going to say yes. They're going to say no. When they say no, you're going to say, well, I would love to be your Scentsy lady. Here's a scent sample on me with all my contact information. Bam. Done. So, very simple, very easy. All of you can do the visual samples. It can be done, and you will see rewards. And then the last thing that we want to talk about is sampling your surroundings. And I think this one, is, my opinion, is not a hard thing to do at all. This should come, the more you do it, it's going to be more comfortable. But for example, probably if any of you are part of your PTA, hopefully everyone already knows that you're the Scentsy lady in town or Scentsy guy in town. However, every time you go to the PTA meeting, you need to go armed with new samples. You need to have a reason to pass out these samples. So, for example, you get there, you know, you're saying, hi, Susie, how you doing? Oh, my gosh, you guys, I forgot. I just got the new Scent of the Month samples in. You guys have to try this. It's amazing. Bam, 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 bam. Now, they know you're a Scentsy person, but they're excited because it smells good, and you're giving them something for free, and you're reminding them that you're their Scentsy lady. What's going to happen? Maybe not that meeting, but the next meeting or between meetings, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, I need light bulbs. I have company coming in town. I need some new scents. I got a birthday gift. I got to call Tracy and get some Scentsy for this birthday gift. So you want to be sure that even though people already know you sell Scentsy, that on a regular and consistent basis, every time you go to that dentist office, all the gals that work in that office should have a sample. They need to be like, you need to be excited. Maybe it's a new sample of the counter cleaner. Take them each a sample of the counter cleaner. You know, maybe you want to take them one of our essential oils because you're going to get your monthly massage, hopefully. Take them some of the oils. You need to have a reason to always be giving any of your surroundings their samples. It's really important. Another great way to do this is just by sharing, and I have it pictured here because I don't have it. I had so much stuff on my desk here. Here's an example. This is something that somebody did. It's just a little inexpensive container that they purchased, and it has a whole bunch of baggies with samples and their business cards actually in it. And this is something that you can easily do. You can go like to the dollar bin at the Target store, for example, and they always have cute little buckets that are very small and inexpensive. Put 15 or 20 scent samples in them, maybe a few product lists. I always stand them up in it. And like when I go get my nails done, for example, I'll go in and say, hey girls, I brought you guys all samples and share the love. And I leave the container with them to set out. And they'll pass out the samples. Same with when you go to your hair salon. Maybe you have a friend that works in a really large realtor's office. doctor's offices, anywhere, any office areas at all. It's a great way to take it to them. Now, another thing that I do sometimes as well is when I have something like this, I'll throw a little scent circle in it, and whoever my contact is there. So my actual nail gal, I'll say, hey, Tanya, I brought you a scent circle, and I also brought you some samples that you can pass out to customers and to some of the other workers here. And I just leave it. And again, that's going to get you in front of people that you would have no other way of getting in front of. So make sure that you're doing that as well. Here's what we want to do. We really want to challenge you to use that list that I encouraged you earlier to make. When we talk about the bank, okay, so when I go to the bank this week, I'm going to do what? We already discussed this. You're going to leave a silent sample. Or you know what? You can get really uncomfortable and you can just give them a sample anyways. But give them a verbal sample. That would be great too. But I was just going to give you off the hook and let you do a silent sample. Or you can do a stranger sample if you really want to go there, which would be even better. Next time you go to the grocery store, guess what? You're going to take your samples and you are going to find a way to engage in conversation. Maybe it's because you set that catalog on the counter when you're trying to get your debit card out to pay. Okay, and so they ask you, oh, you sell Scentsy? Bam. Do you have a Scentsy consultant that takes care of you? The answer is yes or no. If they say no, bam, I have a Scentsy sample for you, and I would love to be your Scentsy consultant. It's really that simple. It takes practice. You're going to have to practice this. You're not going to be perfect the first time, the second time, the third time. But here's what I can tell you. I've been doing this now for going on 8 years, and no one has ever thrown my samples at me. They've never gotten mad because I gave them a sample. I've never had any broken bones. Nothing bad has happened because I gave them samples. What has happened as people have given me orders, people have booked parties, people have joined my team, and I have gained a lot of new customers. So the only thing that can come from this is new customers, more confidence in your business, and you're going to see some great success if you get out there and sample the world with Scentsy. Please share your results. I'll be eager to hear and see. I know all of you guys are capable. All of you are have the opportunity to do this. We have great products that people love, and Scentsy's made it as easy as possible for us to get out there and to make samples available. So let's share what we love and let the whole world know how fabulous Scentsy is. Get out there and sample away.